place that's nice to live. Because, you know, with as many hours as we all work, that's one thing. When I landed just now, I had a big sigh of relief. It's like, oh, it's so nice here. It's not cold, it's relaxing. You have a beautiful environment in which you live in, just on a day-to-day basis by virtue of the state you live in. But there are some areas that are just overpopulated, over-industrialized, et cetera, and those are going to be changing as well.
Excuse me. Can I interrupt you just for 1 minute? Security is asking, does anybody have a white Mitsubishi because they left their windows open? Don't know, but that was the question. Yes, no? Okay. Excuse me.
Harry.
I just want to say that I'm an optimist, and once you train people to do things right,
Yes.
hopefully you will continue to do things right. It's like going to McDonald's and having a balanced diet. We've been going to McDonald's all these years. We want to have a balanced diet. And once you learn to eat the proper foods, you're there.
What's that old saying? If you give a man a fish day for 1 day, teach a man to fish for a week.
Well, and that comes back to, as a lot of you have sort of hinted about, you know, our children have learned about recycling, reuse, and some of these environmental things, and they're coming home and teaching us.
Right.
Okay, and I think those kind of things can be happening as we move forward.
Okay.
The question that as a union, I'm from the local ATU, from the Bushbackers here in Central Florida, and one of the things, addressing what the lady was talking about, the youth, I mean, you see a lot of young people who go in to the school or get back. I mean, they do like check into the school, come back out, and what I see is, yeah, they have no ambition of doing or progressing. And it's not only Hispanics, it's every culture in this city. I see it every day. And one of the things that this stimulus package, what I'm looking forward to is that everybody is in one building, and that all the jobs and all the opportunities and the businesses and the unions are all integrated, working together. Because it happens many times, when it comes to big money, what happened to that first stimulus package? The money went, nobody knows where it went. We need to address where we're going to give jobs. We're going to offer young people who don't want to go to school, maybe they have a skill. I don't care if it's cleaning buildings or whatever, but if you want to do some kind of job, let's put them out there. Let's get this all together, everybody together, because as a union guy, I don't see putting money out unless you have control at the local level, because at the top, they can do whatever they want.
And that's a really important point you're raising, and that's where every single one of you then becomes critical to all of this work. Because you're the advocates, you have to watch out for these guys. I mean, when you do, you know, how many of us can actually look at a bank and say, okay, you did this, you screwed up. It's different when it gets down to federal dollars coming into your communities and your local officials and how they are managing that resource so you get the maximum benefit as a community. And you know, you were saying leadership. I mean, we're all leaders on one level or another, even if it's just, you know, helping some young person, I don't know, cross the street properly.
I just want to just add on to that, is that I think we've got to make sure we use some of this money for accountability issues. And I want to measure everybody. So when somebody says, I'm going to give you $1 million and we're going to generate 4 million jobs, I want to know 2 years from now how many jobs really were measured, and we spent the money to generate these jobs. And maybe the community over there did a better job than we did on spending that money on those jobs. And since we measured it, we'll borrow their ideas. The problem is we have to measure it. And then even with this retrofit idea, how much does the house use today? Let's retrofit it. Let's measure how much you use again and decide whether we did the right things. And if we didn't, fix our policy. So we have to measure and verify this. We can't just throw stuff at things.
Which is the part that...
It's not just dollars, it's jobs, it's industry, it's all that
It's phenomenal, because the recipients of all those billions would never make an investment the way we American people did in them, without having accountable standards and knowing what our return on investment is going to be over what period of time.
Well, you know, and that was the challenge in the second stimulus package. I mean, the first was, I was not a happy camper. I was like, oh my God, they're going to give everything to this guy, and he's going to have, oh no, haven't we learned our lesson yet? But we were desperate. I mean, the markets were tanking, everything was going crazy. People didn't know what to do, and it was just like, okay, we'll just.
There were two different men in charge.
But remember one thing, they didn't want to, they still don't want to say where their money went, because they don't want to say, well, we spend money. You heard Congressman Alan Grayson, from right here, District 8. He asked a guy from the federal, he says, you loan out the billions of dollars, where did it go? Well, I can't divulge, the guy says, I can't divulge it because they won't come. He says, do you think somebody who wants billions of dollars will never tell you what he needs it for? I mean, this is the kind of thinking that happens when this type of money is out there. Because people have greedy pockets, they have deep, as we say in New York, they got deep pockets, you know, and they'll put money in some place that you can't see it, and then it doesn't train. The young people have to be trained. And I'm going like, if this kid doesn't want to go to school, then put him into work. If he doesn't want to attend school, take him out of the houses. What is it you like to do? You like to work on automobiles, you like to do electrician, you like to put masonry, you like to lawn, anything you want to do, we're going to put you out there to do, because we can't have young people laying around the house and doing anything.
Well, and to your point, part of the other thing we were looking at is how do we help the nonprofits that do all the social work and the creative work? How do we help them? Because at the end of the day, we're the ones in the communities doing this. You know, the churches, etc. And so, you know, and that's always the first pot of money they get cut. Same thing with education. We got to go.
I'm going to interrupt here. I encourage continued conversation outside if they have more time. I want to thank you so much for coming here and being part of OLAVERDE. So we have someone from the city that wants to do a brief presentation on the creative village.